Hey guys, Kevin from Kevin's Off-Road here. We've gotten the question over the years as to how Death Wobble began on their vehicles after swapping out either wheels or tires or both. And it's kind of a it's kind of a difficult concept, but basically the factory wheels are inset inside of where the ball joint rotates. So in other words, it's called a high offset wheel. And basically the rubber and the rolling mass of the tire sits way inboard on the inside of your ball joints. Now, most aftermarket wheels and tires, well, first off, in order to run a wider tire, you'd want a wider wheel. A wider wheel is going to stick further outboard of your fender area. And then the aftermarket wheels typically are not as backset as the factory wheels would be. So what that means is that everything gets pushed towards the outboard side of the axle there. And then you've got a lot of rotational mass out at the outer edge. So when you do hit a bump or an impurity in the pavement or a seam or what have you, you've got a lot more leverage on all of your steering components because of that rotational mass being outboard of where the ball joint is at. It's basically like a really long lever that all it has to move is just a little bit in order to offset the death wobble if you've got loose componentry and such under there. Now, we wrote a book on how to cure death wobble. It's available here on our website. If you search for book, you should be able to find it. If you're struggling with death wobble, then, you know, that's probably a good place to start. There's a lot of great information in there. But if you can put your factory wheels and tires back on and your death wobble situation goes away, what that tells me is that, well, it tells me two things. First off, obviously, you've created a longer lever by putting those bigger tires and wheels on there, which needs to be offset by tightening up all of your steering components. Basically, your track bar needs to be super beefy. I would say 1.5 inches and up for a minimum of 1.5 inches outside diameter on your track bar. You're probably going to need some super durometer bushings in that track bar itself. You're going to want to make sure that your toe-in setting is closer to 0 than the factory setting is. You're going to want to make sure your caster is set properly. And we go through all this stuff in the book. There's, I don't know, whatever, 50 different things that could potentially cause death wobble by being loose. So you're going to have to go through each one of those components, unfortunately. But the good news is that death wobble is in, I'd say, 99% of the cases curable. We sell death wobble cure kits, which include a whole bunch of brand new components that you replace all at one time. So you're not constantly trying to chase down what happened to be loose that week. And then once you replace it, you find out that something else wore out in the process, which is a huge pain in the butt. You've got to keep tearing the Jeep apart, and it's a pain. So replacing all those components at once oftentimes makes sense for people. So anyway, death wobble is a very big construct and concept that it's not easy to do in a couple minute long video here, obviously. But I did want to give you the concept at least that replacing your tires and wheels with aftermarket tires and wheels can indeed trigger death wobble, namely just because your steering components have quite a bit of wear on them over the years, and then they were not designed for that particular wheel and tire combo from the factory anyway. So you're going to have to upgrade all the other stuff too. So anyway, that's enough from me. It's 4 minutes here at least on this video. For more videos like this, KevinsOffroad.com/blog. Hopefully that answered your question, and hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for your business. Super grateful for you.